go, I am live. Anybody watching? Nobody watching yet. So we'll start with page 3, which is sort of the refuge and generation of bodhicitta. So we just say, oh, here we go, I've got a few people online now. Good morning, people in Facebook world. Thank you very much for joining me here at the Tibetan Buddhist Society of Canberra for our Sunday program. I hope everyone can hear me well enough. Please let me know in the comments if you can't hear me. But I've used this setup a couple of times before and I've had no problems, so hopefully. So I have a couple of people here joining me live in our Holder Centre at the Grant Cameron Community Centre. We're going to try very hard to have somebody here every Sunday from now on and try and get back to where we were pre-COVID, where we were meeting here live every Sunday. And it really was only because of COVID that Rinpoche himself couldn't travel and we couldn't meet in too big a groups that we decided to close down the meeting face-to-face here on a Sunday and do it all virtually. But now we'll continue doing it virtually via Facebook and Zoom and YouTube and other medias. But we'll also try very hard to bring everybody back who wants to come back and meet face-to-face here in the Holder Centre on a Sunday, because that's kind of what a Sangha is all about. So to start today, we will do the refuge and generation of bodhicitta. So if you have a prayer book, it's on page 3. If you don't, you're more than welcome just to follow along with me. So we'll do the first paragraph in English once, and then we'll do the second paragraph on page 3 twice. So the 3 times, 3 is a fairly common number in Buddhism. So if you join me, please, with placing your palms together in front of your heart. And we say, in the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I take refuge till enlightenment. By virtue of listening and the like, may I reach Buddhahood to aid all beings. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Now we'll settle into our meditation for the day. So this Sunday program follows a fairly standard pattern of a little bit of body scanning, then followed by a little bit of breath work, either qualified rounds of breathing or super qualified rounds. But I will ring the bell at the start, and between each section to know, so you know when to change. And then I'll call the bell again at the end. So I will keep hold of the time and monitor our time. All you need to do is keep your focus on your meditation. And now I just realised that I haven't got the singing bowl with me. So excuse me one moment, please. Super organised this morning. That's okay. Please forgive me. So settle yourself into your meditation posture. You might want to check your legs are comfortable. Take the time now to squirm and wiggle. Get the right indent into your cushion for your bottom. Bring your thoughts into the room. Bring your thoughts into your body. start with some body scans, starting from our toes. We slowly scan up our body like a doctor checking for disease, scanning up our shins to our knees, continuing up our thighs, noting that our legs are the earth element that brings strength and stability to our practice. And as we get to our hips, we give gratitude for our legs. We continue scanning up our spine, vertebrae stacked tall on top of one another, noting that our spine and our back is the fire element that brings energy and vigor to our practice, which is why it's important to keep it tall and straight, like a flame. Checking our posture, we're not leaning forwards or backwards, left or right. You may even at this point, our first scan, rock a little, just to find that point of equilibrium and balance between left and right, forward and back. And as we scan up to our shoulders, we give thanks for the fire element bringing energy to us. Scanning down our arms now, down to our elbows, and all the way down to our hands, with our right hand resting in the palm of our left, palms facing upwards, thumbs gently touching, in the position of meditative equipoise. Our hands and our thumb form a bit of a diamond, a gem, and our left and our right are balanced. Wisdom and compassion, balanced nicely. Without wisdom, compassion will take us away. And without compassion, our wisdom will be ill spent. So we need wisdom and compassion neatly balanced in our life. And this is what our hands represent as they sit in our lap, gently balanced. And as we scan back up our arms represent the water element that again brings balance to our practice. The left and the right, the good and the bad, the black and the white. And we give thanks for our arms and the water element as we reach our shoulders, scanning up our back of our neck, up the back of our head to our crown, where we imagine a piece of string gently pulling us tall to keep our back straight and our head straight. And this also has the benefit of tucking our chin into our neck a little for the correct posture. And again here you might want to just move your head around just a little to get the right balance. Not too far forward, not too far back, left or right. We want it beautifully balanced on top of our neck, on top of our spine. We keep scanning over the top of our head, down our forehead, down our nose, our eyes, mouth. So our eyes are half open, half closed. If you need to close them all the way, then that's okay. Our mouth is in a slight smile, bringing positive energy into our practice. Our tongue is resting on the roof of our mouth, just behind our front teeth, and our chin tucked in. Starting to scan back the other way now, our chin, mouth, tongue, nose, eyes, forehead, head. Noting our head represents the air element that brings wisdom to our overall practice. And as we scan down the back of our head and leave, we give thanks for this air element. Give gratitude. Now we scan back down, shoulders, arms, elbows. Elbows, a slight space between them and our torso. lets us know our hands are in about the right position. Once we reach our hands and check the posture there, we scan back up. Once again, giving thanks for the water element that brings balance to our practice. Scanning back down our spine now, checking our posture, and giving thanks for the fire element, the energy that brings. Scanning down to our hips and our legs, knees, ankles, giving thanks for this earth element that brings a solid foundation to our practice. That is one body scan, done fairly slowly because of my instructions. But now I'll leave you to your own body scans, which will probably be a little bit quicker. But try where you can to be as detailed with your scanning as possible. Keep your mind firmly on your posture and the elements and what they bring to your practice. After you do 2 or 3 or 4, wherever you are in your journey of meditation, take a mini break to attend to anything that urgently needs your attention. I will keep hold of the time. You just need to worry about your meditation. Not that you should worry. Just keep focused. Just check where your mind is. If it's drifted away to the sound of the beautiful rain, then gently, without judgment, bring it back to your body and continue your scanning. Again, just check your mind. Where is your focus? And don't forget mini breaks. Take a mini break there and attend to whatever urgently needs your attention before we change the point of our focus to our breath. Now shifting our focus from our body to our breath, all the while maintaining our posture. We will watch the flow of breath in and out of our body through our nostrils, always breathing through our nose, never through our mouth. And you don't want to change your breath, you're just watching. Let your body breathe as it has for years. You're just watching. Noting like a curious scientist watching an experiment. You do not want to interfere. Let's start noting the rise of our inhalation, how it gently starts and quickly increases into the middle of our inhalation, only then to drift away to a tapered finish. And then let's note the change from our inhalation to our calm, abiding pause at the top. The start, the middle, and the end of the abiding. And we note the change to the exhalation. Again, the slow, tapered start, building in speed as we expel the air to the middle, and then towards the end of the exhalation as it tapers away and eventually stops. There may be another pause at the bottom of the exhalation, there may not. But then again, the inhalation will start. And we note again the beginning, middle, and the end. Beginning, middle, end of the abiding. Beginning, middle, end of the exhalation. If it helps to count, to keep your mind focused, please feel free to add a count at the bottom of the exhalation. So each round of inhalation, calm abiding, exhalation, count 1. Inhalation, abiding, exhalation, count 2. and so on, until we reach about 6, where you can take a mini break to attend to an urgent matter if needed. If you're slightly more advanced, then feel free to count to 10 or 21 before you stop. And again, if your mind should jump to some other branch, gently, without any knocking of yourself or judgment or criticism, bring it back to your breath. Again, I will watch the time. You watch your breath. Just quickly checking your mind to see if it's still on focus. And also quickly check your posture. Take a deliberate mini break there, again to attend to anything that urgently needs your attention. It's better to take a break and attend to what needs attention than to try to force your way through, because between those mini breaks will be much more deliberate and effective meditation. Now for the last section of this meditation practice today, we'll stay with our breath. But we'll do ourselves a favour and bring in as much positive energy as we possibly can. So now on that inhalation, visualize a white, pristine, pure, bright light. So bright that it's blinding, and yet you can still look at it without any problems. It's so bright it's engulfing the entire universe. As you breathe that in, it fills your lungs and it fills your body. And on that white light is positive energy. You can label it whatever you wish: love, compassion, happiness, joy, whatever you feel you need at this moment. Take it from the universe, knowing that it is free for you to take. It's not stealing, it's not selfish. The universe has abundance amount of joy for you to take. As you get to the top of the inhalation, it fills your body and bursts to all parts of your being. It changes to a bright red, beautiful, pristine red that fills your entire body, every single cell, every part of your being. Permeates your cells, your bloodstream, your nervous system, and fills you with that positive energy. As you exhale a dark blue, a dark black that comes from the very core of your being, almost like a cloud, smoky, horrible black cloud that leaves your nostrils and disappears into the universe. And on that dark colour, place a negative energy that you don't need anymore. You watch it exit your body. You watch it disappear. Know that you can just give it away and the universe will take it without any hesitation. Feel the relief in your body as that negative energy departs. See it, know it, feel it. An inhalation, again, that blindingly beautiful white light. Know that you can just take positive energy from the universe, see it entering your body, and feel it entering your body. Feel the energy lift you up a little, putting a smile on your face and filling your whole body at the top of that inhalation with a bright red. Now feel that dark energy leaving your body, that burden lifting from your shoulders, whatever it might be, regret, stress, sadness, sorrow. You can simply give it away. There's nothing holding it in you except you. If you find it too difficult to do the inhalation, the abiding, the holding of the red, and the exhalation all together in one round, just focus on the inhalation. Just focus on the white, beautiful, positive energy entering your body. And then breathe out as normal. The next inhalation, again, focus on that white, beautiful, loving kindness entering your body and filling your being. And breathe out as normal. After 4 or 5 rounds of that, switch to just focusing on the exhalation. And breathe out that dark, negative energy. See it leaving your body. Know that it's leaving your body. And feel it leaving your body, never to come back. You can watch it drifting off into the sky and absorbed by the universe. I'll leave you to it for the last few moments, giving and taking as we need from the universe. can bring your attention back into the room. Breathe easy. I hope everybody got something out of that last session. And we'll just do the prayers requesting teachings on page 9 for those with me, or if you've got a prayer book at home, page 9, the new book that came out recently. We haven't made it publicly available, so you probably don't have one at home, but that's okay. Just the requesting teachings, we ask that according to the intelligence and predisposition of each being, we ask that you turn the Dharma wheel of great, low and common vehicles. So it's a bit of a Buddhist tradition that teachings are only given when asked for. A monk will never, not that I'm a monk, even a layperson, even you really, should not be pushing Buddhism or the Dharma onto others. And to make sure that doesn't happen, there's sort of been an unspoken rule ever since the beginning that we don't give Dharma talks unless asked for. And the tradition was even that it had to be asked for 3 times. So most sort of modern traditions nowadays don't go that far, but it used to be that someone would go to Buddha or his Sangha and have to ask for something 3 times. It also sort of showed that the student was serious and really wanted to learn, really wanted to know that the answers to that question. But that's where that sort of comes from, that tradition of asking for, requesting teachings. So my talk today is on practice without a goal. Now these Sunday talks for the last little while, simply through COVID anyway, have been done by Rinpoche, and he's had a very set of talks that he's been giving, which have been brilliant. But now that COVID is slowly lifting, Rinpoche is going to start doing a little bit more travelling on a weekend. So the Sunday program will go back slowly to the way it was before COVID, with us students presenting them. And therefore the topics are a little bit more free range and a little bit more open. So if anybody has a question or a topic that they would like to have a talk about, a discussion on, please email that into us or put it on a Facebook, and we will see what we can do. On that same point, I think I said right at the very beginning, but we've had a few more join us, that the Sangha here in the Holder Centre, the Grant Cameron Community Centre at Holder, is now meeting face to face, and these Sunday programs will be here as often as possible, maybe not every single Sunday, but as often as possible. So for you to join me or join whoever is presenting here in Holder would be marvellous, and we can stay for a cuppa and a chat afterwards if you wish. But anyway, let me get on with my talk today. It's only quite short. It's called Practice Without Goals, and it forms around the idea that when we practice, we just practice. You might have heard the saying, maybe a little bit tongue-in-cheek on Buddhism and meditation, but you might have heard the saying that when you're washing the dishes, just wash the dishes. And that's kind of where I'm getting at. So let me start with a quote from Joshu, who was a great Chinese Zen master. He said, "A clay Buddha cannot cross water. A bronze Buddha cannot get through a furnace. A wooden Buddha cannot get through fire. Whatever it is, if your practice is directed towards some particular object, such as a clay, a bronze or a wooden Buddha, it will not always work. So as long as you have some particular goal in your practice, that practice will not help you completely. Sure, you will progress in some way, but you may also take some backward steps. So you may think that if there's no purpose, then what's the point of the practice? But not having a purpose is very different to not having a goal. So you may think that without knowing where you're going, without knowing what path to follow, how are you going to get there? But we do know the path. The path is really clear. What I'm talking about here is a goal at the end of that path. We don't know what's at the end of the path. And we won't know. There's no way we could possibly know until we get there. So trying to put a destination in, trying to put a goal into the end of our practice is setting ourselves up for very, very likely some disappointment. Because no matter how much we think we know, no matter how much we've read, or how far along the path we've gotten, we'll never really know what's just around the corner until we turn that corner. So we can have our best guess, our best guesstimation. We can analyse, we can think, we can discuss, but we'll never really truly know what's around the corner until we get there. So if we have too rigid a goal in our practice, that I am going to achieve enlightenment, or I am going to achieve the next jhana or bhumi, we don't know what that is. Yes, we can use this sort of concept of language to try and describe it and talk to people who say they've been there, but we will never really know what it is. So instead of having some particular object in mind that you want to achieve at some point in the future, you need to limit your activity, limit your attention to now. So when your mind is wandering about elsewhere, you have no chance to express yourself. But if you limit your activity to what you can do right now in this moment, then you can express fully your true nature, which is the universal Buddha nature. So universal Buddha nature was placed in you long ago like an ancient seed. It's in all of us. Some people say there is only one seed too. Buddha nature is just one, and we're all part of that Buddha nature. It is in us. It is us. We are part of it. It is part of us. There is nothing other than Buddha nature. But we don't really comprehend what that is. But if we think of it as a seed, the practice and the maintenance of your attention is like the sun and the rain on that seed. It's what makes it grow. The problem is that we don't really know what type of seed that Buddha nature is. What is inside us. You know, if we keep with that seed analogy, it could be a great redwood, could be a cactus, could be bamboo, could be a sunflower, or a human pine, or it could go on and on and on. We don't really have any idea at all what that seed will turn into. But we do know we have the seed of Buddha nature. So if we're hoping for, or we expect a sunflower, and we get a gum tree, for example, there's likely to be some disappointment. Even though both a sunflower and a gum tree are both beautiful in their own right, we expect something, we strive for something, and we get something else. It's fairly human nature to be a little disappointed. So what I'm saying here is that to water the seed, just let your light shine on that seed without any expectation. All you want to do is nurture it, and we nurture it through the practice. So focus on the practice, focus on the process, and not the outcome. So when we practice meditation, we need to limit our activity to the smallest extent possible, to the smallest present moment possible. Just that inhalation possibly, just the beginning of the inhalation, and maybe even the beginning of that beginning. And then as time progresses, we watch that beginning grow and then we watch it grow a little more, and then we watch it become the middle of the inhalation, and we watch it increase, and there's more of a rush of air than there was at the beginning. But then we notice that that middle of the inhalation starts changing and shrinking as it tapers off towards the end of the inhalation. So we're really narrowing our focus down to those moment by moment bits of our process and our practice. And that's the path. Especially during meditation, that's the path. That's all there is to do. There's no thinking about, is this inhalation long enough? Is it right? Should I be exhaling now? We don't worry about any of that. We don't worry what's coming next. If we don't pause at the top of the inhalation, we go straight into an exhalation. That's fine. We don't expect there to be a pause. Usually there is, but every now and again, probably we've all noticed that there isn't. I usually have a pause at the end of my exhalation. And sometimes I sort of get to the end of my exhalation, or what I think is the end, and there's still a tiny little bit of air coming out. It's a much longer tail to my exhalation than previous. I didn't expect that, but I don't sort of push against it or judge it or cut it off either. Just stay in that very moment and stick with the practice. So this is how we express that universal Buddha nature. So instead of having some object of worship, some goal, some product, we concentrate on the process. So this might be called calm abiding, it might be insight meditation or some tantric visualization. But whatever the process is, that's your focus. And if you achieve enlightenment in that very moment, then fantastic. If you glimpse it even, just for a millisecond, then that's great too. If you go into the next sort of sitting, expecting to glimpse it again because you glimpsed it yesterday morning, then you're most likely going to be disappointed. You probably won't glimpse it again for a long time. But the next glimpse may be a little longer or a little deeper. So again, drawing inspiration from the Zen tradition, because they do this sort of thing very, very well. When you bow, you just bow. When you sit, you just sit. When you eat, you're just eating. So I think there's many of us who gobble our food down and are on the phone at the same time, or we're chatting at the same time with mouth half full of food. Okay, that's not sort of what we're advocating here. So our universal Buddha nature comes out when we take it moment by moment and we don't worry about the end result too much. So the idea is not sort of exclusive to Buddhism or even religion. Classical philosophy also has this consideration of a goalless process. So thinkers such as Foucault or Nietzsche, they were always aware of the unstable nature of this progress, or the unstable matter they called being, okay, the person, what we call Buddha nature. So being conceived of us, an event that cannot be grasped. So this idea of being or existing cannot be grasped, but only in the present. It's so unstable and ultimately structureless that the only way we can sort of even contemplate what this being is right now in the present. So this isn't Buddhism, this is philosophy that goes back a couple of hundred years. And metaphysics. So being is not a thing, but more something that happens. It's more about a thought or form. And if we want to really try and label ourselves, then what we're doing there is recalling the past to think about what we did or what we liked or didn't like, the way we behaved. So even putting a label on our nature is really nothing to do with the present moment. What we're doing there is looking backwards, going, well, the last time I drank X, I hated it, so I guess I'm not an X drinker. But that was yesterday. You might love it today. So the event of being offers insight into moments of transformation or potential for change, in which old assumptions may be loosened. Such moments are difficult both to describe and to predict. So again, that's still sticking with some philosophical thought there. So I think Buddha was onto something. Going back to Buddhism, so some great Buddhist masters who sort of have been lost in time once said that our purpose is just to keep this practice. This practice started from beginningless time and it will continue into endless future. So strictly speaking, for a human being, there is no other practice than this practice. And what they were referring to there is the practice of sitting meditation. So it is our human nature to be active and the nature to want to do everything. But as long as we're alive, we're always doing something. But as long as you think, I am doing this or I am doing that, you're most likely not doing anything special. So you're actually not really doing anything at all, according to some of these Buddhist philosophers. So when you give up, when you no longer want something, or when you do not try to do anything special, then you are doing something. When there is nothing gaining an idea, then you are doing something. In meditation, what you are doing is not for the sake of anything, it's for the sake of itself. So you may feel as if what you're doing is something special, but it's actually not. It's only an expression of your true nature. So it is the activity which sort of appeases your innermost desire. So you've got to try and find that innermost desire. And as you're aware, the idea of suffering and what causes suffering, you want to find that innermost desire and push it aside. You're never going to truly get rid of it until you're fully enlightened, of course. But you need to just acknowledge it, push it aside for the moment, and focus on the practice. So a very wise woman that I know has said regularly, reality is the ruin of imagination. And what I think she means by that is that when you imagine something or you create an image in your mind, a daydream, for example, of a desire, maybe a destination on a holiday and what it's going to be like, once you experience reality, it's different. It's always going to be slightly different. So it possibly could ruin your imagination. Because, in her case, she was saying that reality is the ruin of imagination because her imagination is so much more bright and happy and positive than reality turned out. Well, it can also be the opposite way around. If we imagine that enlightenment will be like this, and then we eventually do possibly get there, and it's different, even as beautiful as enlightenment is, so I've been told, it's going to be different. So there's going to be that sort of conflict in your mind. So the idea, I'll sum up, is that we focus on the practice and not the goal. Focus on the process and not the product. Because if we do focus on the process, the product will happen. Okay. I hope you got something from that, some thought that you might be able to ruminate on and sift through for the next few days, and it'll help your practice somewhat. So I have a little bit of time for some questions. If anybody here wants to ask some questions, or anybody at home wants to ask some questions. Thanks, Steve. Happy Harmony Day to everybody. I think I should have worn orange. It's orange. It's Harmony Day, isn't it? So I probably should have worn orange today. If there's no questions on the Facebook comments, we might dedicate the merit of our sit today and this teaching and see where we get. So on page 10 of our prayer book is the dedication of merit. And at home, if you'd just like to follow along, we'll read each of these paragraphs once through. So by this merit, may we overcome the defilements and gain omniscience. May I liberate all beings from the ocean of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Hearing the Mahayana teachings, whatever merit I have accrued, may all beings become stainless vessels to hold the Mahayana teachings. Courageous Manjushri knew all things, and Samantabhaja did likewise. Following all of their examples, I shall dedicate these merits. May the excellent bodhicitta take birth where it has not yet done so. Where it has been born, may it increase freely without degeneration. Thank you very much for joining me on Facebook and here in the centre. Next week I'm also presenting this Sunday program, and at the moment I'm thinking I will talk about the virtues of Sangha, what a Sangha means to Buddhism. It is one of the triple gems. That topic may change, but that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. And the Sunday after that is Easter Sunday, and that will be Venerable Jamyang presenting for us, because there is a retreat that Rinpoche will be leading. So thank you very much for joining us. Tune in next Sunday, same channel, same bat time. Go well. Bye-bye.